Welcome to Tavern Talk 716. Coming to you from 60 feet down in the bunker. Here are the hosts. International best-selling author Keith White Jr. and Lawrence Duran Gomez.
Oh my God, we're on!
Oh, there we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tavern Talk 716. I haven't had too many beers. I am Lawrence Gomez, a.k.a. Duran, a.k.a. Salvatore Morocco, a.k.a. the guy that's the more awesome one on this show. And joined with me today is...
the way less drunk international best-selling children's author Keith White Jr., who decided to let Duran have the reins and say, welcome to Tavern Talk 716. And he butchered it. So that'll be the last time he does it. But either way, welcome to Tavern Talk 716. Now I may let him do it again before the quarantine's over. Not when we're in a bar and there's people watching. But this is Tavern Talk 716. And we are here in the beautiful underground bunker built by this man right here with his own two hands. And somehow it is not falling apart yet. Or maybe I spoke too soon, and this is the very end of us and the show. So make sure you give us a like in this episode, because this may be the last one, because this thing is all going to come tumbling down like a house of cards.
There's a lot of weight above us.
There is a lot of weight above us. From what I understand, from what you told me, all here, all there, bodies.
You'd be
I don't know what kind of bodies
I came across digging this hole.
I would, if one would be impressive. Any more than one would be scary. One, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy that would happen. Maybe someone had an accident. Two, I'd go, oh, maybe they were together. 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm like, this is a graveyard.
Well, there weren't any caskets, so that's what makes me think it's not.
This is a scary graveyard of a serial killer who is going to realize you dug up half of his bodies, and he's going to come down here and butcher both of us, and we're going to be he's going to fill this whole room with cement, and we will be the new bodies.
Nah, those corpses are from at least 60 years ago.
Oh my God. 60 years ago? How would you know that? How do you date bones? You take them out for a nice dinner and move them. I know, but how do you figure out how old the bones are? How do you date them? You do not know forensics.
I totally studied forensics.
Where?
Online.
Online where?
On that.
I don't believe you, so you're going to tell me more.
It was an online course. I don't remember. I failed.
You failed. So then you can't tell.
I still learned forensics.
So you failed. So when you say 60 years old, that means they're either 6 months old or 600 years old. Like they're caveman bones, and you're like, oh, these have only been here 2 weeks. They're like, you're pulling out an entire skull from a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you're like, oh, that's got to be a German Shepherd.
It could be.
Oh, this show's already off the rails. We've been on the air for like 3-4 minutes, and we are off the rails. This is the kind of show I like. The last episode, it was all right last week. It was a little, I don't know where that show was going. This show, I know where it's going. Completely off the rails.
We do work better when we have a little bit of idea of what we're going to talk. Even though I really do love the winging it, kind of off the cuff banter. But I do feel like we should come to the table with a little bit. How do you know
we do better with information? Because we've never had it.
Well, I feel like the show that we did that was 1 hour long and broke up into 2 half-hour segments.
Yeah.
I
don't know what you're talking about. That was all one episode. That was 2 separate episodes, 2 different days.
It had a to be continued in the middle.
No, it had a to be continued at the end. If it had a to be continued in the middle, it's continuing immediately after.
Well, all I was trying to say was that we came to the table. We came to the show with we're gonna have this subject, and this subject.
I don't remember going into that show with any subject.
We had WrestleMania.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
We had Dark Side of the Ring.
Okay.
We had taste test of the Stone Cold.
Okay. Other than the Stone Cold beer, though, the other things we spent about 30 seconds on before we completely derailed into something different. You haven't watched him back. That's the problem. We were like, hey, remember WrestleMania? And I was like, oh, we're going to talk about WrestleMania. Well, that could fill a whole show. We're only doing a half-hour show. We could easily fill it. We spent about 3 minutes talking about no crowd, and then way on to something else. Also, I think it's a little weird that I'm wearing a T-shirt, and you are in a hoodie with a hat on. You've got the hood up. You've got it cinched and zipped up. It really looks like we're in different locations, like using special effects, because I'm good. You are frozen.
Well, I saw this note on the plywood above the hole, and it said, "I'm gonna get you." So I feel like I'm dressed appropriately for an attack.
You're dressed. You're sitting in front of lights with a camera on. We're talking very loudly, and we're drunk. This is not going to save you. We are dead. If someone comes down here, we are dead. D-E-D, dead.
How? Hide in the shadows.
Dude, there are lights on us. There are no shadows. That's what these lights do. We have
Lights make shadows.
No, but we have two of them that point together. This is part of production. People who don't know production would know these lights here. If we had these off, the lighting in here would be off. It would be pretty dark. These lights are designed specifically to light us. These are designed specifically so that we are illuminated. If a killer comes in, we're the only thing lit up in the whole studio. We are dead. We are so dead. And I will absolutely push you down on the ground and take off and climb that ladder.
Right, and I got my hoodie on, so I'll be fine.
And you'll be dead. You'll be dead in a hoodie. And I will be in a t-shirt, so I am weighing less, and I will sprint out of here so fast. That thing's going to weigh you down, my friend. So what happened with that skirt you were wearing last week?
It was last week. I can't wear a skirt every week.
That's not true. Many women wear skirts every week, and men. It is 2020. Men wear skirts too, and it's okay. This guy here, he doesn't think it's okay. You just heard what he said. I think it's fine. I don't judge. Whatever makes you happy, you do it. You be happy. This ass.
I wore skirts before it was cool. Wait.
Well, it's only been okay to wear skirts since it's been cool. Before that, it wasn't okay. You see? He's saying there was a time when it wasn't cool to wear skirts. That's what he's saying. Whereas I say it's always been cool to wear skirts. You wear whatever makes you happy. I know what's up.
You do.
See? I'm going to just keep drinking my beer. I brought my glass back this week. I enjoyed having it last week. It's got the Bills logo on there. We are again not on Ranting Ron show this week, so that's
and yet you're drinking from a Bills glass and wearing a Sabres shirt.
Buffalo! What is this show? Tavern Talk 716, baby. Go Bills, go Sabres, bring back sports. Woo, sports!
That is, I feel, one of the biggest things during this quarantine that really make it feel surreal is that there are no activities. There are no sports.
There isn't, and actually that does remind me of a topic that I actually did want to talk about with you, is that I just found out, did you know they've been doing NASCAR races televised virtually?
Where the racers drive.
The actual racers are driving their cars. Yeah.
Yes, I
yeah,
did
you did hear about this?
I didn't see it, but
I
I
haven't
heard
seen it either, but I heard that this has got to be a week ago now. One of the drivers on national television used a racial slur. Did you hear about this?
I think I might have heard of that.
I guess in the previous race, he had lost a sponsor because he was in the race. And if you want to, in the comments below, say who it was. I didn't do enough research. So I don't know his name or the sponsor. But I guess in a previous race, he had rage quit the game because he was losing. In the middle of the race. He just rage quit. He quit the game. And then he went on Twitter after and he's like, I'm so sorry. I was just mad. And people kind of forgave him, but he lost his sponsor. This past race, his pit crew couldn't hear him through his headset. And he just blurted out the N-word.
Wow.
On national television. On this televised race.
That's worse than me dropping the F-bomb on this show.
Right, well, way worse, because nobody watches this show. So, I don't know. Do people watch NASCAR, digital NASCAR races on television? I don't even know. But he, I guess he got suspended now from NASCAR, which is weird because he wasn't actually driving any NASCARs.
That's
so
true.
But I was going to ask the reason I wanted to bring it up is I was going to ask you what your thoughts would be on other sports doing that, like football, basketball, hockey. If they were to work out a deal with like EA or 2K or whoever's making the games, so that every player on the team could play themselves in the game. Because right now you're looking at maybe 4 players, but if they could set the game up on a dedicated server where every player got to control themselves in the game and you televise that game for people to watch, well, what would your thoughts be on that? Do you think that's something that people would watch? I guess what I'm asking is, do you think people would actually watch that?
I think that you'd be better off, even though people love the pro athletes and everything. I think you'd be better off getting actual gamers to do such a thing.
Well, that was my next question is
Because it'd be more entertaining that way.
Because just say for example, we'll just use the Bills as an example. Say you got a Madden, you play the whole season out in Madden in football this year. The entire season's played out in Madden, and actually we could have went on Ryan and Ron's show. We're talking sports. We could have actually gone on your show, Ron.
Who are we?
And we could have gone on your show because we're talking sports, and we chose not to.
Well, no more Ron. This is the Pro Ron show's gone.
That was last week. The Pro Ron.
Yeah,
Now we're back to mediocre Ron. We went anti. We went pro. Now we're in the middle of the road.
Now he's just okay.
So anyway, so say you played out the entire NFL season digitally in Madden or whatever, even if they made a brand new game just for this. Now, if you say you're a player but you don't play video games, because not every athlete plays video games.
Yeah, if you're a professional athlete, you've gotten there by dedicating yourself to the sport.
And some do. Some do in the off time. They don't go out and party or anything. They just sit in the hotel. They play video games.
Everybody needs an outlet.
But say you're one of the guys who is more of a party animal, more of a womanizer, more of a, that type of deal. And you don't play the game, and you're an excellent athlete, but now you're playing this game, and you're just like that guy running in circles. Like, what does that do for your... Like you. Yeah. But if you were playing as yourself because you're...
Not in real life.
Right. Well, I've seen you run in circles in real life, too. Yeah.
It was a 5K.
Right, but not in one spot.
I ran 5K in one spot.
You did not win that race. You didn't move. And then they all come back to the finish line, and you're like, I was here first. No, you never left. So anyway, does that hurt you? Would you think that should hurt their stats for the next year? Because they were awful this season. Because they didn't know how to play the game.
Well, I mean...
I'm just curious your opinion.
If we were talking about it and it was a real thing, I'd probably have a better opinion on the whole subject. But since it's all just
it's a straw man.
Hypothetical, I'm going to go with no. I don't think it should affect their stats because it's just it's going to be an asterisk season at the end of the day anyway.
The team that wins the Super Bowl, did they win the Super Bowl?
I also think that's a no. Because it's not actually the game. All you're doing is trying to give your base something to kind of tide them over until real sports return.
So say, in the same scenario, say they decide to do this for a season and they play half a season. And then at the halfway mark, the world opens back up and they can play. Now, do they start the season with 0-0 records? Do they keep the records from the digital season?
Oh, in that case, I think that you could count. If you are all in on the video game aspect,
right? Well, in our assumption, we're assuming the NFL, because if they've designed
the NFL is replacing their season with digital.
Has said they've come through and they said we're going to televise them. We need content. We are going to go digital for the whole season. Every player is going to play themselves. We're going all in. These are the games. Okay. So in that scenario, and then halfway through the season, they go, oh, the world's open. We can play real games, sell tickets, go back to life as whatever the new normal is, because the world's never going to be the same. So we go back to our new normal where we open up the seating, and I don't know, people have to sit 5 seats away from each other. I have no idea what they're going to do. But now we open it back up, and we're back in the real world. Do you keep the record that the teams have, or do they start back at square one and just play a shortened season?
I say, in that scenario, go with where you're at, and then even a bad team can dig themselves out a hole.
So you're saying start at 0, or go with the records that
with the records they made through the game.
Through the game,
yeah.
So then, say a team's really say the Browns. The Browns are generally not very good.
Right.
Cleveland Browns. Now, say all the people on the team, though, are awesome at Madden. So they're undefeated.
Okay.
Now, when we get into the regular season, they should still be undefeated, even though they're going to probably poop their pants for the rest of the season and create Cleveland Browns all in their pants for the rest of the season.
Correct.
But you do think they should keep that?
In that scenario where the season starts up in the middle of the video game season, yeah. Go with those records.
So then my next question would be, would you watch that if it was on television that way? Knowing that it's the real players, and what if they all have mics, and any guy touching the ball, you can actually hear him talking?
You're not going to win me over on this scenario.
So you're not, even if the Bills were going undefeated.
That would be the year we won the Super Bowl in the video game friggin' season. It's bullshit, and you know it.
Didn't even happen. Didn't even actually happen. And he's fired up. I like the episodes where Duran shows up to the studio drunk. Those are the episodes I'm a fan of. When Duran shows up here and he's ready to go, and he's just like, let's turn the camera on, let's do it. He's halfway through the show. I haven't even haven't even set the lights up yet, and he's already halfway through the show. He's just been sitting here for 20 minutes, like, no, what is this thing? That's something, thing. It flew away. It flew away. I'm done with this show. I'm like, I haven't even set the lights up yet.
The show.
Who are you?
Listen, lay it down. That show where you weren't recording and I was going was gold. And you weren't recording.
Pure gold, he says. He spent half of the show with his hoodie on backwards and the hood up. Pure gold. I didn't understand 3 words he said the entire show, and then I had to carry him out because he peed his pants. Pure gold.
It's called physical comedy.
There you go.
It's a lost art.
It's a lost art. So there we go. We had a topic and everything. Now we had a topic. Are you happy? We went into a show with a topic. It's 2 out of 6 episodes we've had topics.
I like it. And then we go on rants. That's kind of our thing, but I feel like you need to start somewhere.
If you think that's a good idea, put a comment down below. Send us something on Twitter that says that you like that. Or, maybe we'll have a couple topics. You guys can give us topics. We'll talk about them. And then we can just babble on about nothing, because I do think last week's show, I had a lot of fun doing last week's show, but we talked about like Easter and Dingus Day, Passover. What did we talk about?
It was Dingus Day.
Dingus Day. And I had fun doing it.
Passover?
That's when you want something, but you decide not to take it.
Oh, you pass over it.
Right, exactly,
okay.
exactly. Oh, and then we talked about how sane we were, because we were so sane that we weren't out of sanity. We had lots. We were insane.
Yes, we were definitely insanity.
Right, last week's show was pure insanity.
I'm 100% on board with that.
That's right. That's what last week's show was all about. I remember now. And this guy, he had a big part of it too.
Yeah, he kicks the Corona's butt.
Senior Bottle Topper, I believe his name is. He was in the 80s. That dude was huge. If you're too young for that, you look up Senior Bottle Topper. He was huge in the 80s.
Right up there with the Raisinets.
Oh my God, the Raisinets. Who is that? You mean the California Raisins?
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah.
You did mean that.
The California Raisins.
The California Raisinets.
The same.
That would have been girl version. If they would have had a girl band of the California Raisins, they would have been the California Raisinets.
The California Raisinets.
And then we wouldn't have the candy now, because it would have already existed as an animatronic or stop motion singing band of raisins with breasts.
Well, raisins kind of have those anyways, right?
With breasts?
Like they're all wrinkly and you got...
Why does that mean they have breasts? Old men are wrinkly. That doesn't necessarily mean they have breasts.
Old men are wrinkly and have breasts.
Not all of them.
Show me.
I'm not going to start showing you naked old men. Where is this show going? We were doing so well. We were doing so well on this show this week, and now you want me to show you pictures
now you're
of naked old
backpedaling.
men.
All you're doing is backpedaling on your argument.
There's no argument.
Instead of trying to prove to me.
I'm not going to prove to you that naked old men don't have breasts.
Naked old men have breasts.
I don't need to prove that. You could put it down in the comments, everybody. I don't need to prove that. That's not a thing I need to prove. So what have you done since the last episode? What have you been up to? What's going on in the world of AKA Duran?
Well, we are essential employees, so we have to show up to work, even though
Here we are.
all unessential during this whole quarantine business.
Essential entertainment.
Unessential individuals, they don't go to work. Most businesses are actually closed down. But if your job actually plays a role in the sustainability of our society, you have to go. So here we are. We go to work, and it takes up a lot of my time because I actually work a 50-hour week every week.
Even during this?
Even during
Really?
this, and they want me there more. In fact.
Really? I didn't know
And I'm
that.
like, no.
You said no. I got Tavern Talk 716.
Indeed.
And Ron actually gave us letters that he told us they're from a lawyer. I don't know how true this is, but he gave us letters in case we get pulled over on the way to the bunker and show the cops, says we're essential entertainment. Did you get one of those or no?
I haven't gotten mine yet.
Oh, I got one just a couple days ago from him, and it says that we're essential entertainment, and that if any cop pulls us over, we are allowed to just hit the gas and take off.
Well, look at
That's
that.
what the letter says.
Twice essential. Who knew?
That's right. You are double the essential of everyone else on planet Earth. You're working 50-hour weeks and still making it to the bunker for this show.
Indeed,
all
it's
to
true.
line the pockets
It's
of
a-
Ranting Ron. Because I can tell you, I haven't made a nickel from
It's a
this
passion. It's a passion. What can I say? So besides attending my 9 to 5 job, just working on the opera, my girlfriend and I have just gotten into Scrubs.
Oh
So-
my God, I love Scrubs.
Scrubs.
See, these are the topics we should have been talking about when you said we needed topics.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love Scrubs.
It is fantastic. It's such a good show.
I think I talked to you because you've already watched Scrubs before.
Yes, I watched it once.
And when I watched it, which was just a couple years ago, I watched the entire thing for the first
Yes.
time, and I was talking to you about it because you were watching them as well, which was a coincidence. I said something. You're like, oh, I've been watching them in the mornings before work. So we started talking about it because I was like right at around the same spot you were in the show. And we started talking about
Yes.
it, and then discovered we both love Scrubs.
Yes,
And that was the first time I'd ever watched it. Just a couple years ago, that was my first watch through.
Yes.
So I got to watch it beginning to end, all the way through.
It was one of my favorite shows because it's constantly on Comedy Central when I still lived at home all those years ago. And so I enjoyed it then, and then it was on Netflix for quite some time, and I got to
Yeah,
watch
that's
it
when I
all the
watched
way
it.
through, and that's when we both watched it together.
Yep.
And then, so as I was saying, my girlfriend and
We
I,
watched
we
it
just
in,
finished.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we watched it in a version of social distancing.
Yes.
I watched it myself, you watched it yourself in
And
completely
then we
different
discussed
places,
it.
and then we discussed it over the phone.
Yes.
You see? And now
Social
we can't stay
distancing
away.
before it was cool.
And now we
Wait,
can't stay
it's
away
not.
from each other now that it is cool.
So as I was saying, my girlfriend
Thanks,
and I
Ron.
just finished The Ranch.
Ooh,
And,
also a great show.
Also a very good show.
Yeah, I love
And,
that show as well.
It's like consider ourselves to be very liberal individuals, and then that one I feel is a very good dichotomy of the conservative liberal kind of
You're talking
colliding.
about The Ranch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very great show. In case you haven't caught it, it's about a family that lives on a ranch in Colorado, and they do all the farming and whatnot. And
It's full of cursing.
It is full of cursing. I love Sam Elliott, and Ashton Kutcher has definitely won me over since. I mean, who doesn't love Kelso? But you kind of also hate him.
You see,
But,
I was never into the 70s show, so for me, my real first experience with him was The Butterfly Effect. Remember that movie,
Yes,
The
a
Butterfly
good
Effect?
movie.
Right, so I'd never watched the 70s show when I seen The Butterfly Effect. So I watched that movie and I was like, man, this guy's a great actor. This is a really good movie. And then I'm like, oh, and he's on this sitcom. I'm going to watch it. And then I watched it and I was like, that can't be the same guy.
Yes, total idiot.
Yeah. But that's a great movie, The Butterfly Effect.
Indeed, that was a great
So,
movie.
but not to get you off topic, because I know I do that. So go ahead.
So yeah, no. So getting back to what I'm doing in my quarantine time, I'm very excited to watch Scrubs once again because it's just an outstanding show.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic show. Beginning to end in that last season, I don't want to give anything away because I assume that your other half hasn't seen.
It's true, she has not.
So I'm not going to give any spoilers. But the very last season is a very different show.
Yes, it's a different.
Very different show. Like
They
literally,
actually brought it back.
Right. Yeah, it was over, and they brought it back for another year and just changed everything. Literally everything about the show except for a few of the characters. But I actually like that season as well.
A lot of people hate the last season, but I enjoyed it.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that people really disliked it, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because of the changes that they made, but I actually thought that could have worked if they'd have continued. I thought it was a great way to keep the show going.
Yes.
I really thought that
They made a different show, but it didn't feel like a different show.
Right. It was continuing the same show as things would continue in real life.
Yes.
Because things they don't stay the same forever. Nothing stays the same forever. And that show realized that, and they went and pushed things differently and pushed it ahead and went in a different direction. And I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I was disappointed when it was canceled the second time, as shows do get canceled the second time. I actually just had a conversation on Twitter today or yesterday with a guy who asked if Heroes had been canceled or it just ended. I said, that show got canceled twice. And he just sent me a sad face.
Unfortunately, it's one of those shows that I've never seen.
Oh, you never seen Heroes?
I never saw
Also
Heroes.
great.
All I know is Save the Cheerleader, Save the World.
That is pretty much the basis that you need to know. So you should watch it though. Heroes, it was on Netflix. If it is, watch it. Or if it's here on YouTube, you can watch it on here. Not illegally. I'm saying pay for each episode. I think they charge like $2 an episode for shows. So, do that for sure. But it might be on Netflix. You can watch it on there. Or the NBC app. Do you see that the NBC's got a streaming service coming? Peacock?
I know that CBS had one.
Yeah,
I
CBS
do
All
know
Access.
CBS
They
had
still
one.
have that. Because they got Picard
I
on
do
there.
not know that NBC had
Oh,
one.
NBC's got one coming, but theirs is not going to be, because CBS is you pay $10 a month, and there's hardly anything to watch on there. NBC's got one. It's going to have a whole free tier, So you can watch all the shows on there for free with commercials. So as long as you don't mind commercials.
And
you can watch
NBC
everything for nothing.
is Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah,
and
Saturday Night Live.
30 Rock.
And if you go actually the NBC app, if you don't already have that, there's a ton of shows on there now. I was watching Quantum Leap on there.
Oh, we all know you. Well, maybe not those at home, but
I love Quantum Leap. I love that show.
he said it.
I do. What? You don't like Quantum Leap? Ah, come on.
Didn't do anything for me. It's like that Doctor Who.
No, it's not like Doctor
That doesn't grab me
No,
either.
I don't like Doctor Who. It's like Sliders. You ever watch Sliders? Jerry O'Connell?
I didn't care for that one either.
Oh my God. I'm really glad we're almost at the end of the show because I am like so offended right now. In fact, when Star Trek Enterprise, remember Star Trek Enterprise?
I do.
When that show came out, I had not watched any Star Trek shows. I was not into Star Trek. I'm still not really into Star Trek. But when Star Trek Enterprise came out, I watched that show because the guy from Quantum Leap was on it.
Wow.
I watched every season of that show. I watched the entire run of that show because the dude from Quantum Leap was the captain on Star Trek Enterprise. That's how awesome that Quantum Leap is. So awesome, I watched Star Trek.
That says a lot.
Boom. So, I think that's a good way to end the show. I think Quantum Leap is great. Sliders was a great show, and Star Trek Enterprise is underrated. I don't care what anyone says about it. So, you know, if you disagree or agree, comment down below because that's where they go, and I read them. And he doesn't even watch the shows, so he has no idea.
Scrubs, How I Met Your Mother, True Blood,
I don't
Game
watch,
of Thrones.
I've watched none of that but
Watch
Scrubs.
those
I've
are
watched
great.
none of those but Scrubs. None of those mean anything but Scrubs. Get out of here. You're talking HBO and stuff. I don't like. Get out of here with that stuff.
Those are good shows.
Quantum Leap,
Game of Thrones,
Smallville,
True Blood,
Scrubs,
How I Met Your Mother.
and no, what? How I Met Your Mother. I know you love that show.
It's so good.
I just said it like that so that I sounded like I was disgusted because then people will put stuff in the comments like, "Oh my God, Barney! You can't not love Barney." And he was Doogie Howser. I love Doogie Howser, MD.
I probably watched a couple episodes when I was 10.
You are the worst. I was like 10 too, but it was a great show. I was not even born yet because I don't know if anybody out there knows this. I just celebrated a birthday. I'm now 29 years old.
Happy 29th birthday.
Wink.
Keith. Wait, your birthday's in like a week.
No, dude, my birthday was last week.
Thanks for coming to our show, ladies and
Like 2
gentlemen.
weeks ago, you gave me a birthday gift on the show. You literally gave me a couple comic books like a couple weeks ago on the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, your birthday's tomorrow.
No, my birthday's not. My birthday was last week.
Yeah, so thank you. My name is Lawrence Gomez, a.k.a. Duran, a.k.a. Salvatore Morocco, a.k.a. Tango Torres, and joined with me is, as always,
International best-selling children's author Keith White Jr., whose birthday was last week, and I'm 29 years old. Either way, this was, and always will be Tavern Talk 716 here in the 716. Go Sabres, go Bills. I don't have anything left in here, but I'm going to cheers anyway because that's how a man does it, and I'm going to pretend to drink. So join us again next week when we're still hopefully here and this hasn't caved in on us. Even that last sentence.